there, welcome once again to the Dukascopy TV studio. I'm Ben Jones. Alongside me is Rene Philippe to discuss some of the traps and pitfalls that you need to be aware of when purchasing financial services offshore. Rene, thank you very much for coming in again today.
Thank you, Ben, for your invitation.
Not a problem. Now, can you begin by explaining to us why it's important to make sure that you deal with a fully licensed financial service provider?
Yes, simply. Let me ask you a question. Would you do surgery if you know that the person which will do the operation is not a surgeon?
No.
It's exactly the same with financial services. To work with a financial service company or with a bank which is actually properly licensed means three things. The first thing is that in every single country which is offering license, financial license, you always have a standard minimum capital that need to be paid up. Okay, so in Belize it's 100,000 US dollar for a forex company. In Bulgaria it's 125,000 euro for a finance company. If you want to do a bank license offshore, at least 1 million US dollar paid up capital for a bank license, full offshore bank license. In Switzerland 20 million Swiss francs, in Hungary 8 million euros. So basically it's an investment which you are doing. The second thing is that in every single country where you have license, they will do a due diligence of the directors of the company. They will check whether the directors have the professional experience, whether they are professional ethic people, if they are doing business ethically, whether they have a criminal background or not, whether they were bankrupt or not. So there is a check of the people which will be running the company. The third thing is, in order to obtain a license, you will also have to prepare a business plan which is detailed, explaining what you want to do, and you will have to show that actually you know what you are doing. Okay. And finally, there is also the fact that once you obtain your license, your activity will be checked by the regulator on the long term. So basically, if you are dealing with an offshore service financial company which does not have a license, it means that you are working with people which don't take the effort to invest the capital, or which cannot show that they have the capacity to do the business. So that's why I recommend people not to work with companies which are not properly licensed.
Okay, now there are situations where licensed companies have failed. So would you say that it's not necessarily a guarantee?
Yes, you are correct. It's not a guarantee. The fact that you have a proper license is not a guarantee that you will fail. But basically, it's all about managing risk. Okay, in nowadays day, between the financial crisis, between the rogue traders event, financial instrument no one understands, and all these fines that the big banks are being hit with. So basically, I don't think there is a bank or a financial institution which is too big to fail. But the point is, you have to manage risk. Okay? And working with a financial company which is not licensed, it's to add to the risk which are already existing.
Okay, can you give us any examples of non-licensed entities?
Yes, actually I have a few of them, and one of the reasons I did this subject today is because for the last 2 weeks I received a lot of emails from unlicensed company. One of them was from a so-called bank. It was a press release where they say XXX, I will not say their name, set new standard in international banking. Launched the first offshore bank account with minimal deposit requirement. Okay. Alors, firstly, I would like to say that this talk about being the first to have a bank account with minimal requirement, it's crap. Excuse my French, but it's the truth. You can open a bank account with HSBC in Hong Kong with 5,000 euro deposit. You can open a bank account in Switzerland with 10,000 euro deposit. You can open a bank account with a big bank in Mauritius with like 1,000 euro deposit. So basically, it's not true. But the thing is, when you look the press release, you believe that you will be dealing with a bank. But they are not a bank. They are only what we call an offshore financial service company. And they are registered in New Zealand. Why does I mention New Zealand? Because basically New Zealand, while it's a developed country, it has surprisingly, it has one of the worst standards for the registration of offshore financial service company. My butcher could set up an offshore financial service company and start to sell bank account tomorrow. And if I trust him with my stake, I don't trust him with my financial services.
Okay, can you elaborate more on services such as Forex, stocks and metal shares?
Yes, it's exactly the same than what I was discussing before. It's basically most of offshore companies providing Forex services nowadays are not licensed. One of the simplest example is Seychelles. There have been years that Seychelles financial authorities have not issued Forex license. So most of the companies claiming to have a Forex license in Seychelles are lying about it. And it's the same for many other services.
Okay, now moving on a bit, can you trust a Swiss trust company to handle your financial affairs?
The Swiss trust company. So this is also one thing which is, you have actually a lot of them. But what are they? The first thing you have to understand, there is no such thing as Swiss trust legal entity in the Swiss commercial code. What you have is SA or AG, which are joint stock company, or SARL, which are limited company. But the concept of Swiss trust company is unknown from Swiss law. The second thing is, what are they? In truth, they are simply vintage company which investors have purchased, and then they have modified the article of association to add like 50 or 100 activities which are all financial services. But the point, it's not because you put in your business objectives that you can do this, that you can actually do it. Okay, most financial services are actually regulated in Switzerland. That's the point. Those companies, it's just a gimmick. They are using the name of Swiss because it's one of the cleanest financial place and one of the most professional, and they are using the word trust. And basically, they are victim because we don't talk about client. Most of people which will be dealing with this kind of company will be victim. So just stay away from this.
Okay, and finally, how can one tell if a financial service is reputable prior to doing any business with them?
But you have very easy tools that you can use. I mean, today we have the internet where all the information is available. All you have to do is to know how to find it. You have, for example, two very easy websites that you can use. One is named scamadvisor.com, the other one scamvoid.com. You just enter the domain name of the company which has contacted you, and they will give you the result with whether this site can be trusted or not. For example, you enter Dukascopy.com on this website, you will have a trust ratio of 100%. I mean, you cannot do better. So, but this morning, 2 hours ago, I have a Forex company that contacted me. They wanted me to be partner with them to send them customer, you know, like in offshore service business. Their trust ratio, 10%. How do you want to deal with them? It's site not to be trusted. Okay? This is the first tool. The second tool you can use is Google. You just take the name of the company or the name of the website or the name of the director of the company, which you always can find on the website, and you add the word scam or you add the word fraud or money laundering. And after you go through the result, and if there is something to find, you will find it. Lastly, of course, in every country you have financial regulator, so you can just contact the financial regulator to ask whether this company is properly licensed. The difference is this will take a few days before you get an answer. But if you use the internet, you can get an immediate answer. My recommendation, use all those tools. It's free and you can do it by yourself. So if you have a way to avoid trouble, why not use them?
Rene, once again, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you for your invitation.
Not a problem. Thank you for watching. Rene will be joining us again next week, but until then, make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV for plenty more updates and exclusive interviews. Bye for now.